Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, love and light. When you think about perseverance, what does that mean to you? What do you think? How do you perceive the word perseverance? Do you see it in yourself? Do you see the ability to continue forward no matter how hard or difficult the terrain? Do you put your best foot forward even if you may be screaming inside because of possibly pain, whether it be physical or emotional? Or, maybe you're scared and you don't know what's there, but you're persevering, you're going forward anyway, even though you may feel one certain way on an outdated level. You know that your direction is forward, and you know that the only way to get there is to migrate in that direction, even if that direction seems to be an uphill battle or a struggle in order to complete. But it's for your betterment, for your higher good, for your stature, your physical temple, meaning that not everything is a life or death situation that we persevere through, right? We have free will and choice, and we pick and choose what it is that interests us, that excites us, or motivates or drives us. And then that's the sensation, the resonation, the feeling that you're gathering, that I'm gathering anyways, and pulling up to the forefront to allow me more strength, more conviction, more clarity in my steps, knowing that even though it's hard and it's pushing me back and it's making me really truly work for the direction in which I want to be, that motivation and determination is actually seen. And it's seen by your higher team, because it is true. We do create, whether we realize it or not, through our mindset, our intentions, our perceived direction, right? But then that changes over the course of our life, because we're not meant to stay in one place, right? We were given the ability to think, to wander, to ponder in thought, to research, to experience through imagination or our third eye reception, right, on a possible place or situation or mindset or theory or even knowledge that may come your way. And those come your way in little pieces or little bits here and there, so that you have the ability to digest, to understand, to be able to use whatever it is that you've gained through blessings, through perseverance, through motivation and determination, right? That will broaden your view and give you, I don't want to just say clarity, but more freedom to choose to walk and continue to go toward the path that you're creating in this stage of your life, knowing that the obstacles are coming, right? Because unfortunately, not every energy out there is looking to see our energy evolve, develop, and especially achieve. So they're going to throw daggers whichever way they can. However, your mindset allows it to penetrate or affect your environment, your energy field, your mindset. Because at a certain level on our awareness, evolution, if you will, because there's evolution in everything, when you're growing and you're learning and developing, right? And when you're looking at the aspect of awareness, being aware that there's more going on than what you may see with your own two eyes, that you're utilizing every sense that you have and all of your abilities in order to receive clear direction on which way to travel, what your best route would be in order to achieve your goals. Fully understanding that cutting corners never gets us anywhere. If anything, it's a false sense of security and usually lands us 10 steps backwards. After the explosion pushed us 50 feet back. So we're looking at, quite a distance that we'd have to retravel. So with that in mind, right? And completely it's up to you, but I've always chosen to take the longer way, to look, to see, to make sure, to understand, to be able to develop, to utilize every lesson into usable knowledge and gained value. And it's always set me on a course that led me to enlightenment, led me to grandeur pastures, if you will, where the ability for what may be in between the tall blades of grass or the patch of flowers just right there, could be the tool that you need in order to understand on a better level the awareness that you're facing at this particular moment. And in my case, the awareness, the determination, motivation, and most certainly perseverance has everything to do with me being who I was before I turned left and decided that, my fate was sealed because of lack of information, because of lack of growth, because of lack of, evolution on every level, because I chose my own reality. I chose to live in a fantasy land. I chose to ignore everything I saw. And I chose willingly to do this because I thought I was in a position that I was trapped, right? And because I felt trapped, and because I created my own illusion, and because I ignored all the signs and the synchronicities, the shouts that were coming my way, and even the violent, jolts, right? I lost my abilities. I lost my sight. I lost my ability to walk. I lost my form and my functions, externally and internally. And I was faced with the reality that I chose not to acknowledge, and I created a world that inadvertently, although I realize that now, but I created a world that mirrored or matched what I was looking past, not listening to, avoiding, pretending. And then I couldn't do any of those things anymore because that reality I created crumbled. Because when the real world caught up with me and my body was suffering because of it, and my mind and my abilities, because the divine said, if this is truly where you think that you are, then I'm going to match that and show you that you just made your own jail. But I'm going to give you a tool, a key, a piece of information that could very well set you free. But it's up to you whether you choose to grasp, to see, to recognize, to perceive, and also to grow. And that means that you have to face your fear. And now at this point, my fear was very well spread, because not only was I stuffed in a position that I let like crazily grow, right? Like algae in the sun. It's a little tiny thing, and then the sun comes and it's everywhere, right? However, because I didn't recognize, listen to, right? Not only did my family life deteriorate and crumble, and did things go wrong because, I couldn't really control their outcomes, but I didn't know that then. And I was still trying to remain in front of all these situations, even though I was creating them and I was following behind them inadvertently in an outdated mindset. And then when I was forced to see where I was, right? Screwed up family, screwed up body, screwed up life, lost my job, right? They said that I was not an asset, that I was a liability, and that I didn't have anything that they needed, and that I should take myself elsewhere. And that was a really big downer, because I've never been fired, actually, ever. No, I've been laid off because, companies lost business and stuff, but I've never been fired. And it was like, it was a big, big wall that literally exploded in front of me. And as I was cleaning up the mess, because I'm tidy like that, so I started to see all the pieces that broke away, and started to recognize and be able to understand why they were a wall, and why I placed them there, and the universe cemented them there, with like putty, so I could break it apart, right? Easily. But that I wasn't trapped, and I wasn't forced to live a life that I thought I failed, that I thought I created havoc for everyone in, right? By whatever choices or decisions or mindsets I chose or didn't choose, over a course of time, especially when I saw all the red flags, and I allowed certain things to continue while I cut off other things, right? Like when my when my spouse decided that, it wasn't in his best interest to be attached and migrated off, I said, okay, fine, but still left a life ring. And I did that for everyone, even though I knew that I should have said, okay, bye, and kept that life ring regardless. I put myself in a position that I did not like how it turned out. And I now know, because it's been 2 years that I'm on my journey of physical healing, mental clarity, and knowledge and wisdom and enlightenment flooding back into my world in such a drenching manner. Like I was dry and warm, and now I'm wet and I'm comfortable, right? Because I chose to dive into the water. I chose to right my wrongs. I chose to put my body back together. I chose to take herbal medicine, which is cocktails designed and combined with the oil essence of plants and herbs and all kinds of greenery that add to our body's physical health, regeneration, and renewal process. Because keep in mind, we benefit from what the earth provides us. We always have. The only disconnect that we have in today's world is that we're no longer utilizing the land for the nutrition and the minerals, the nutrients, the value that she provides, because we seem to have been placed in a position where convenience took a lot of the basic necessity needs away from us and provided us with grocery stores, which packages things with pretty little labels and nice little words that say, this is what you need in order to feel good. And in reality, most of it is modified or manufactured. And, yes, there could be some good to it, but mainly it's not something on a whole that your body was supposed to consume. Your body was supposed to consume to thrive off the land, not just to survive after figuring out how to use the nourishment provided in order to gain, the body clarity, nourishment, and life, right? Good life, proper health. So with with the herbs and the plants, and I ate that, and it was designed specifically for my issues, and we tackled them all at one time. I didn't say, okay, let's do this part and let's do that part. I said, let's dive in and let's do a complete makeover, a complete body overhaul. And it started with my mind saying, I'm all in. Because I already knew that this was the right direction. It was just costly, extremely costly. Like $600 a month. Costly, right? No insurance. And thankfully, I was able to handle that expense. The universe set that up so that I could easily take care of not having to worry about where that money was coming from. But it benefited me greatly. And it took me 1 full year, pretty much. So 9 months of herbal medicine in a regimented routine, every day, 3-4 times a day manner, right? And then 9 months later, I was healed. And I've been toning my body and reforming my muscles and repositioning my internal systems so that they line up the way that they were supposed to function, that they're not pushed out of place, they're not moved around, because I had issues with my legs, so it wasn't moving. I had issues with my lower back, so that wasn't moving. I had issues with, my spine, so that limited things. And then I couldn't see clearly, and I couldn't feel my feet, like anything. I could step on a tack and not know it. But those things, I chose to use perseverance to work through. And I don't know if anybody has ever hurt themselves or had an issue where muscles, ligaments, tendons, or even bones, needed to be reformed, enhanced, repaired, rejuvenated, taken from a very weak state and given back the elasticity, the life, the movement, connecting it back to the mainframe of the brain so that everything works, the way it was designed. Because when we're a baby, we don't think we need to do this and we need to do that and we need to make sure that this is good and that's good, on the inside of us, right? Because it's already there. It's already complete. It's already in place, in proper position. It's when we get older, as we make wrong or bad or not the right decisions regarding us, our future, our path, our environment, that's when we allow, through an outdated mindset or, a limited perception, that reality that we fear so badly to infiltrate our space and become our reality. And if that's where you are, look at me. Because although I sit mainly in my videos, I can walk, I can stand up, I can lift my leg, I can feel half of the bottom of my feet, progress. I could see 75% out of the eye that I couldn't see anything out of. I have the ability for clear thought, and my communication with my spirit team has never been so constant and consistent and clear. I hear and I sense and I feel, and my energy tingles, and I get sensations and pulsations and confirmations and synchronicities and symbols sent my way on it almost 24-hour basis. And that's so that I know I'm not alone, that I've never been alone, and that I've been recognized and seen, and that I decided all on my own that I was going to look toward my future with brighter eyes and a smile and a warmer heart. And everything started opening up one after the other. And what's not for me fell off, and it's just nothing but a memory. And that's good. That's okay. That works out. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it truly is us understanding who we really are and what we're really about and what our mission here is and how we can add light. If we're supposed to, migrate into a position where we are a beacon of light, right? Where what we've done, what we accomplish, the mindset we once had, the evolution that we're walking into, be publicly seen for all to view. And that's me. I'm your poster child. So you could go backwards and you can look and you will definitely see the progress, the clarity, the brightness that my aura has been every day growing into. Because I went back and looked. I always do. And it's not to see, one thing or another, but it's to say thank you to the version of me that I used to be, that was brave enough to step up and take a chance and walk a path unclear at the time. And guess what? I evolved to here, and right now I'm with you. And I am so super delighted, so super grateful for each and every one of you. And when I look back in another 2 years, I am quite positive that the view I see will be another smile to who I have been evolving into, the highest version of me, all to benefit you. Well, I get benefited in the end as well, you know, but I'm not like looking just to uplift me and stop. That's why I'm sharing it all with you. That's why I'm so transparent. That's why I'm inviting and encouraging. And I'm very easy to talk to listen to resonate with, because I am positive that there's a piece of me inside every one of you that holds the perseverance, the willingness to succeed, and the wantingness to uncover everything there is to know about you, because that's where I am right now. I am calling in all of my abilities from past lives to settle with me in my timeline so that I can gift everyone everything I've learned, not just what I've carried with me into this lifetime. There's way more, I know there is. Like, I'm quite positive that, you know, could be goddess, could be shaman, could be angelic, could be prophet, could be whatever name you want to label it to be. But what I know is that I've yet to see the entirety of me. And as I uncover more of me, I will certainly share it with you. And I do look forward to all the things that you've uncovered. So kindly leave me a message and let me know. Share my video. By all means, subscribe and like. Really, it helps algorithm, because there's so many more souls that need to be illuminated. And I learned that there is life that needs to be reached everywhere by everyone. So join me and let's connect. Let's encourage. Let's increase. Let's share love and light, peace and joy. My lovely collective, wherever you may find yourself, I am always, always available. No matter where I am on my path, I always have room. There's always room at my table for you. Love and light, peace and joy.